My beautiful souls, welcome into your daily read for Sunday. I hope all is well. We're going to begin and do some shuffling, and then we'll pull an overall energy from the Light Seers Tarot. And I think stick to just this deck for this reading. Okay, the Knight of Wands. Why are we feeling burnt out? Or is this more so just kind of wounded warrior energy, feeling a bit defensive or protective, the need to be? I feel like you're thinking about whether or not you're fully or at all protected, and Spirit's saying, being drawn to this reading, you don't lack protection per se, especially when it comes to the spiritual realm, but I feel like you do need to experience what feels like a lack of protection or certain slip-ups or holdbacks is what I'm getting, bad wording, but setbacks, if I didn't say it already. In order for maybe little obstacles for you to learn, to grow, to utilize what you've gained up until this point from something similar or from other experiences. There's a feeling of Spirit saying things aren't easy per se at this time, but they're easy in other ways or one specific other way, but they'll get easier moving forward. Okay, busier I feel like, but easier in certain other ways. But you may be experiencing at this time a bit of a delay, a divine delay of some sort, because Spirit's saying whether you realize it or not, or you might partially realize it, you do need to do some healing, okay? And for whatever reason, at certain points throughout this day, you become more aware of this, okay? Whether it's your body communicating to you when you're overly exhausted, maybe it's more emotional or mental. Healing that needs to take place. Okay, the Six of Swords and the Queen of Cups going together, because I feel like all the meanwhile, it's a day where you need to put your hands up and recognize where your control doesn't lie and what's outside of your control. Because it feels like there's certain factors of your path moving forward naturally that's going to be left up to Spirit, part of which that's going to be left up to you, and then there's other aspects of which to transpire and change, develop moving forward, that's going to be a bit more of a co-creating kind of vibe, and end up with a magical result all the meanwhile. But it feels like there's a choice you haven't made yet. All right, is this a new job, a new commitment? Otherwise, it feels like there's something that you need to choose moving forward because of a bunch of little choices you've made up until this point, for the better or for the worse, or I would guess more, or predict rather, more likely a combination of both. I feel like there's a need or a desire for more guarantee moving forward, more support, once again, more security. And I feel like there's a choice on the horizon around the corner, of course differing when that comes to be for everyone drawn to the reading. That's going to make things more secure for you moving forward, more protected, more guaranteed once again. Let's pull a couple more. I feel like for whatever reason, there is at least one point throughout this day, if not several little points, where you're going to be feeling randomly emotional about something. And I feel like it could be something you don't have, something you left behind. It could be more than one thing, of course. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's something at hand that doesn't normally leave you feeling emotional, or you don't feel emotionally driven by, or affected by once again. And this will teach you something. It might even be a spirit kind of poking your emotions for a hot second, or just trying to teach you something, or remind you of how far you've come. Or maybe this is more in regards to the healing that needs to take place for you, and you're becoming aware of it or being reminded of it. Let's move on. Key wording. They're saying get done what you need to throughout this day in a reasonable, realistic manner, and then move on. Hanging on to things, overly focusing on things, lingering is not going to benefit you throughout this day. They're giving me the image of a fish. Kind of looks like a fish on her necklace, although that's not what it is. I feel like there's going to be a situation for the future, might be the choice that you're making, where you're going to feel like a fish out of water. You might feel that way to an extent throughout this day at one point, if not a couple different points. But there's comfort on the horizon is what I'm getting. In those moments when you do feel a little bit out of place, right? Like a fish out of water once again, whether it's meant to transition to more comfort or it's meant to teach you or remind you of something. there's a purpose to it either way. So just go with it, right? Flow with it, and recognize that the benefit is much greater than the moment itself. Okay. To continue for Sunday, the Seven of Wands. This was one of the overall energies that I got in one of the million different attempts to get this reading going for you. I feel like it's a day where you need to protect your energy. You may feel like there's other aspects of your life, or one in particular, that you need to or should be protecting more so. Is this through levels of effort consistently or more consistently? Is this literal protection of some sort? I feel like either way, Spirit's saying the most important, regardless of what you feel inclined to, guided to protect outside of you. What about, okay, and your energy is outside of you, but more so what I'm saying is, or getting to, is your energy once again needs to be protected, okay? It feels like the stars are aligning for you, and there's an answer within that will become quite clear, whether it's an answer you've already been in touch with or you haven't yet even experienced, understood. This answer will need to be, they're saying grasped, bad wording, it needs to be understood, let's just say that, to keep it simplistic. It needs to be understood for the near future. I feel like, again, for some, that's tying into this choice that you need to make moving forward. I also feel like someone's going to choose you. There's something about that moving forward. Somebody's going to choose you. I'm going to leave it at that. That could be any type of connection or any type of situation. Also, a tattoo, if not a couple, might come into play, whether it's yours or not. The Ten of Swords and the Eight of Swords. There's completion coming to mind, taking a focus from the recent past that's left you feeling a bit trapped or limited, restricted maybe. But I do feel as if all the meanwhile, there's a completion in a smaller sense moving forward. And again, could be tied to that Lover's card. That's going to leave you with more love in your life, more success, and more of what you need/want. But may also, in one other way, if not a couple different ways, leave you feeling restricted and limited as well. I keep getting the example of a job, right? For some, where say you start a new job, it leaves you with less free time. You have to be restricted to that job in some way, shape, or form at certain points, right? Even if it's not, say, in that job location, it could be from home. But it's going to leave you less restricted or limited financially and success-wise, or one or the other. Does that make sense? So I feel like all the meanwhile, Spirit's saying with certain restrictions, with certain limitations, comes the lack there of other ones. Does that make sense? I know that was bad wording, but sometimes you have to give in order to receive. Very interesting. You may be reminded of that as a whole throughout the day, but Justice and Star at the bottom of the deck, as well as the Page of Swords, as I am a bit thirsty and, okay, tired, and yeah, anyways. You're learning more throughout this day and surrounding it about the justice you're meant to gain moving forward, about a wish fulfillment. I feel like there's something you're meant to gain moving forward because you were meant to lose something else, rewinding back. And I do sense that whatever you're thinking about that you gave up in the past was heartbreaking, right? It was disappointing in one way, if not a bunch of ways. And so Spirit's saying all that you went through, you might learn more about that all the meanwhile, right? But it's going to lead towards more justice. And I feel like a lot of which is tied to a wish fulfillment, if not a couple, okay? They're giving me the message of if it's a couple different wish fulfillments, they're smaller ones in comparison to if it's one, it's a bigger one. But I feel like there's a feeling of you being drawn to this reading, recently feeling like giving up, even if it was a real hot second, a quick second. But I feel like there's also thoughts of you going through a lot up until this point, and it's about time that you succeed. It's about time that you gain different levels of justice and support when it comes to whatever you wish to see come to be moving forward. Period. Okay, that could be with a continuing situation, if not multiple, and also can pertain to the new. Okay. But the Six of Wands is the last one on the board as of right now. Feeling like there is victory to be gained by the end of this day, and at certain points in between, in the midst of which, but it feels like it's not the victory that you need the most, or it's not the victory that you want the most moving forward. but I feel like in the midst of which, remember to protect your energy. As we get ready to wrap this up, remember it's a day that reminds you that you need to heal more, that you've been through a lot, that you have some important choices on the horizon, and that your choices up until this point were purposeful. And I feel like those choices, let's just say all of your choices, are very much protected. But what are you going to do to protect them moving forward as you gain justice and victory all the meanwhile? Okay? So I hope this was truly helpful. I'm sending you so much love and light. Go enjoy your day, and I'll definitely see you next time.